Hi, everybody. This is Jeremy Davies, principal of Mount Lakes High School, and I'm here today to present to you about the upcoming referendum, September 26th, and how the referendum will impact the Mount Lakes High School bell schedule and consequently the positive impact that the referendum can have on instruction delivered here at the high school. I've previously given this presentation on June 5th and September 12th and wanted to record it for your viewing pleasure. So here you see the Mount Lakes High School bell schedule as it currently stands. We are considered a traditional high school with a very traditional bell schedule. We run basically periods 1 through 9 every single day, all 181 days of the school year, and we do have a zero period for band and chorus courses that runs at the very beginning of the day at 7:14. That is only for band and chorus students. The rest of the periods run 1 through 9 right in a row, same every single day. As we explore some other types of bell schedules that could have a positive impact on instruction, we've looked at all sorts of options. And in the process, we've identified a number of reasons why our current bell schedule, this 1 through 9 setup, has some detriments. And so you can see here the list of some of the problems that we've identified. Our length of periods currently is about 40 minutes. I say the word about because most classes are 40 minutes. If you do the math, you'll see it says 43, but also note that there's no passing time on this schedule in between classrooms. And we actually do give students 3 minutes of passing time to get from room to room. So in essence, our bell schedule has 40-minute class periods running. One of the other issues is the automaticity of the school day, and that's something that we've become really conscious of recently, is that we have 181 days of the school year, and each day it's the same routine. Now, routine can be very positive. However, there are times where, if you are one of those students who's just not gotten going in the morning, period one, having the same course period one every single day could be detrimental to you. Similarly, sometimes people don't like class at the end of the school day, period 9. And if you have period 9 at the same time and say that's your math class, well, that's not maybe the best option for you. And we have similar things about lunch. Sometimes students aren't performing at their best right after their lunch period. And we would be looking for a bell schedule that had some variety to it so that our students weren't always going through the same routine every single day. And it gets rid of that automaticity. Also, one of the huge aspects of our current bell schedule that's detrimental is the lack of a common lunch period. Right now, Mount Lakes High School has 5 lunch periods, periods 4 through 8. So a student could be having lunch as early as 10:16 in the morning or as late as 1:08 in the afternoon. And there's such a variety of lunch periods because of the very fact that our cafeteria just is not big enough to handle the number of students that we have, so we've had to spread out our lunch periods over the course of 5 periods during the day. But the real root of the problem here is that students don't have time off at the same time as their teachers. And we're looking to create an environment where at any lunch period, students could find their teacher for extra help with their English essay or preparing for a test coming up. And it would be really wonderful if all of our students and all of our staff had an off lunch period block in the middle of the day and they could have time to meet. Similarly, wouldn't it be wonderful if clubs and activities could meet during the school day? Our students are wonderful, and oftentimes they're so engaged after school with sports, athletics, after school jobs, that they don't have time for clubs that they're really interested in, but those clubs meet after school. And so we think it would be wonderful to have a common lunch period within the school day where clubs and activities could meet, teachers and students have off, and that would be embedded within the school day. Another issue that we've identified is that our schedule is a very similar structure to a middle school schedule, and we're looking to prepare students for college. Colleges typically have about an hour and 15 minutes for their classes. Their classes are different depending on what day it is in most cases, and there's variety to the schedule. So a class might not meet every day, might meet at different times, and we want to better prepare students for college. Another aspect, the second to last bullet here, is that there's a lot of time spent in the hallway at Mount Lakes High School because of our bell schedule. So we have 3 minutes of passing time in between periods. And if you do the math, that's about 24 minutes a day where each child is spending moving from room to room. If we can expand our class periods and we can alter our schedule, we'll be spending less time in the hallway and more time in classrooms with instruction. And finally, the really wonderful thing about changing our bell schedule is that we would eliminate scheduling conflicts with science labs. So right now we have science labs that move into a second period within a week, and that sometimes blocks students from taking other courses that they really want to take because maybe they're only offered once or there's a scheduling conflict that just cannot be resolved. The new schedule that we're proposing will eliminate those lab conflicts, which will enable our students to take more classes that they want to have in their schedule. Here is a sample schedule that I did a screenshot of, and this was an actual student who had a pretty tight schedule here, and if you look at it, there's a couple of issues. I think namely, the question is, when does this child eat lunch during the day? And if you go down the left-hand side of the column here, you'll see that really the only time to eat lunch is Mondays, period 5. There are other days the student has to hope that he or she has a teacher that's going to allow them to eat lunch during a class, which our teachers are very good about. However, it's not the best learning environment. Also, you can see how tight things are here because we're trying to fit in all of these courses in one single day. And this can have a detrimental effect on our students. If you think about going from course to course to course in 40-minute increments, it is truly an exhausting day. So I wanted you to see what our current bell schedule looked like in action with specific teachers, and this is what a student actually goes through each day. So here's a slide that does an overview of some of the issues that we have from our current bell schedule and how an altered bell schedule, a new bell schedule, can address those. The first thing is that we'd be moving from a 40-minute period to a 57-minute period. Now that's 17 minutes of additional instruction, and I can't tell you how amazing that would be for our teachers as well as our students to be able to get into the depth of the content, the depth of material. And so we would be moving from 40 minutes to 57 minutes. Also, the automaticity that I spoke about earlier is eliminated. Each day is different from the previous day. There's variety, which has a benefit to the way in which we approach school. There's a common lunch block embedded within the school day. And then we'd be moving more to a college schedule. And of course, there'd be fewer transitions in our new bell schedule, and we would be eliminating lab conflicts. So we've done a lot of work to create a bell schedule that eliminates all of the issues that we've had with our current schedule and puts us in really good standing with our new bell schedule. Speaking of bell schedules and talking about the time of a period, you can see here, this is the top 10 list of schools from New Jersey Monthly in 2016. And if you notice the length of a typical period for 8 of the top 10 schools, they're basically what we're proposing here. We're looking for a 57-minute period, and you can see that these schools, many of them, have just about the same amount of time. Only 2 schools have a schedule that is more traditional, like our current bell schedule. So we're looking to do that which other schools have done. And here it is. So here is the bell schedule as we've proposed. We're looking to create different days. So there's an A day, a B day, a C day, and a D day. And if you look closely, you can see that periods drop. So there's a morning rotation, then there's a block lunch, and an afternoon rotation. In the morning rotation on each day, 1 period is missing. Same thing is true for the afternoon. 1 period is missing in the afternoon each day. So we call this a rotating drop block schedule. So day A is periods 1, 2, and 3. On the B day, period 1 has dropped, and we're left with periods 2, 3, 4. Note that period 4 does not exist in the A day. So there's a lot of variety. Students are meeting with their teachers in their courses at different times during the school day. There's a block lunch that's consistent, and the same thing happens in the afternoon. So we're able to fit 8 periods in with a lunch, but there's a lot of variety to this. And again, these are 57-minute periods. Now, if you notice the block lunch, we did split into 2 blocks within that large block. That is because we are wanting to build a larger cafeteria, but not a cafeteria that's going to fit 700 or so students. So we still would need to divide our block lunch into 2, but still give students 25 minutes to eat, and then they would have that time for their science lab or for their meeting with a teacher for extra help or for a club activity meeting. So we'd be splitting it up in that way. Now here's a lot of math. We've done a lot of the calculations for you so that you can see the change in time that the future bell schedule would give to us. So there's a lot of information here, and I'm just going to move forward and highlight a few of the pieces of data here. And if you would like to explore this a little bit further, I would pause the video now and take a look at this and then unpause and move forward. But I'm going to move forward and focus on that number 46 that you see there. And so with the new bell schedule, we'd be having 46 fewer classes meeting. So right now, each class meets every single school day. There's 181 school days, so math meets 181 days, English meets 181 days, and so forth and so on. With our new bell schedule, because of the rotation, there'd be 135 meetings between teachers and students for a particular course. That's 46 fewer class meetings. That's good. And the reason why that is good is because we are focusing on quality instructional minutes rather than the quantity of instructional minutes. So right now, think about it. A teacher has to introduce the day 181 times. Under the new bell schedule, there's 46 fewer times of the teacher saying, "Good morning, class," or "Take out your books," or "Please be seated," or "Please listen up," or "Get your homework out," or "I'm going to pass back these papers." There are 46 fewer moments of those minutes that really do take up instruction. That's a good thing. So there's 46 fewer of those minutes happening, of those times of those minutes happening, and we can really focus on the quality of instruction. And we've placed those minutes in the middle of the period, so the periods are now longer. So that's really good news for the type of instruction that our teachers are providing. The other number that I'd like to focus on is that number 55. So what we did is we had to expand our math in 4-week increments. Because of the rotation A, B, C, D that our new bell schedule has, we had to play it out over 4 weeks. So the rotation continues itself after a 4-week period. With that said, what we're gaining over 4 weeks is 55 additional minutes of instruction for a specific course. That's a lot of time. And I have to say that's really a benefit to this schedule. We're adding instructional time and we're adding the quality of instructional time. So this is really a win-win change for us. And that 55 minutes is approximately 14 minutes of instruction per week per class. And that is pretty significant. And at the bottom you can see that that's about 100 minutes of additional instruction per week for all of the classes that your child would be taking at Mountain Lakes High School. And that's really why they're here. They're here to receive instruction. They're here to learn. We don't want them spending time in the hallways. We don't want them wasting time on free periods and such. And this new schedule allows us to have so much more instructional time per week. It's a huge benefit. Okay, so we did try to pilot a version of this bell schedule during the 2017 park administrations, and I have to tell you, it was a failure. It didn't work well because of our building, because of our physical structure. And here's where we tie it all back to the referendum. Plain and simply, our cafeteria was not large enough nor fast enough to accommodate the numbers of students for a block lunch, which we tried. We gave 35 minutes during park scheduling in 2017, and it just was not enough time to feed all of the students, and there was clearly not enough room in our building to do this. We had students in the gym, and we had students all over the place in classrooms. It just didn't work out. Our cafeteria needs to be expanded in order to accommodate any type of a bell schedule that puts us on a rotating drop block schedule. On top of that, there are too few classrooms to properly run the rotating drop schedule that we're proposing. So that's why when you look at the referendum plans, you can see that two of the major aspects of our proposal is an expanded cafeteria as well as a new wing of classrooms. Because what has to happen as we move to a new bell schedule is we have to move from a 9-period day to an 8-period day with a block lunch. There's still technically 9 units of time during our schedule, but the lunch is now blocked off. So there's still 8 periods that your child takes classes. And what that means is that all of those period 9 classes we had to put somewhere. where do you put all of these classes that are currently running in a period 9 that in the future bell schedule doesn't exist? So we don't have the classroom space for that. We just can't run a different bell schedule right now without adding classrooms and without creating a larger cafeteria. So it's essential. It's essential to, in my opinion, the success of Mountain Lakes High School moving forward to improve the quality of instruction, which I think goes back to all sorts of test scores and school rankings. In order to work on all of those areas, it's essential that we have this referendum pass so that our building can move to a new bell schedule. My final slide here is just how we plan to move forward. We would like to be visiting high-performing schools throughout this school year that have a similar rotating drop schedule. We'll be providing professional development for our teachers, how to teach differently in a 57-minute period versus a 40-minute period. We will try again to run a pilot of the proposed bell schedule and try to make it work, but again, it's very difficult with our building, and it's not really conducive. But we will try, and then we'll be, of course, communicating changes to parents, students, staff, and the community prior to implementation. Ideally, I'd love to move to a new bell schedule in 2018-2019. We're not quite sure if that's feasible. It might be a 2019-2020 implementation, but that would all depend on how the referendum does and how quickly building can begin and what the phase schedule will be. So I hope that I've been able to explain exactly how this referendum can improve the quality of instruction at Mountain Lakes High School. It's through an altered bell schedule, and the altered bell schedule can only happen if we have additional classrooms and if we have a larger cafeteria. So I encourage you to please go out and vote on September 26, 2017, and I thank you so much for taking the opportunity to experience this presentation. Have a great day.